All right, I have confirmation that our court reporter is on the line, so let's go ahead and go on the record. Today is July 24th, 2025, and the current time is 7:35 p.m. The question and answer portion of tonight's event has just concluded. I do hope that everyone is able to get all of their questions answered. The reason I bring that up is because the commissioners and myself will not be able to answer any questions this evening. This portion of the hearing is to hear what your comments are. The commissioners need to remain impartial until after this case is concluded and we have the evidentiary hearing. The Public Service Commission has set this time for a local public hearing to give members of the public a chance to comment about Liberty's request for a rate increase. This is case number ER 2024-0261. The commission is made up of 5 commissioners. There is 1 vacancy at the moment, so we have 4 currently serving commissioners. The commission's chair is Kayla Hahn, and the other commissioners are Commissioner Maida Coleman, Commissioner Glenn Kolkmeyer, and Commissioner John Mitchell. My name is Charles Hatcher, and I'm the regulatory law judge that will be overseeing this hearing. The commission regulates the rates charged by public utility companies in Missouri to ensure that those rates are just and reasonable. The commission also regulates the safety and quality of the operations of those public utilities. With me today is Commissioner Glenn Kolkmeyer. The other 3 commissioners are also in attendance, but they are on the phone listening in. Commissioner Kolkmeyer, would you like to make any opening remarks?
Yes. Thank you, Judge. Good evening. I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. On behalf of Chair Hahn and the other commissioners, I want to welcome you here this evening. This is a very important part of this procedure. We have not made any decisions in this case because we haven't heard any evidence in this case. This process starts with you, the ratepayers, the customers of the company. So we're here to hear from you. And you say, why am I the only one here? Don't the others care? Well, I'm from this side of the state, and I cover the public hearings that are in this region. We have commissioners from all over the state, so they cover the hearings in their region. So the others are online. So we're here to hear what you have to say, and we welcome your comments. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll go ahead and ask the parties to introduce themselves. First, Counsel for Liberty.
Diana Carter for the Empire District Electric Company, doing business as Liberty.
Thank you. And next, counsel for the staff of the commission.
Tracy Johnson from Counsel's office representing the staff of the Public Service Commission.
Thank you. And for the office of the public.
Nathan Williams, Chief Deputy Public Counsel, appearing on behalf of the public and the Office of the Public Counsel.
Thank you. And we have had a few intervening parties in this case. Are any of those parties here and would like to introduce themselves on the record? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on. This is a fairly well-attended hearing, and we want to make sure that we hear from everyone that has come to provide their comments. For that reason, we will be limiting comments to 3 minutes per person. But we do that so that we can make sure that we have time to hear what your comments are, as well as hear the comments of all of your neighbors who have come out to talk to the commissioners as well. How that will work is I have a timer, and I'll just set that when the timer buzzes. That means your 3 minutes are up, and I will let you know that your time has expired and ask you to go ahead and finish your thought. I would ask that everyone please be polite and respect everyone else's right to speak. We are trying to save some time with the hearing on the administrative side so that we can spend more time listening to all the customers. So for that reason, what I'm going to do first is I have a list of the 25 or so of you who have signed up to testify. And I'm going to swear you all in now as a group before you testify. We have found that when I swear in individuals, it takes an extra almost minute per individual to testify. And that will quickly get us here staying very late, way past my bedtime. So, for all of those persons who have signed up to testify, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth? Please say, I do, if that is true. I do. Thank you. I will ask you to come up to the microphone to give your comments. I'll ask you to spell your last name for the court reporter, and then I will confirm that you had raised your hands and stated that you would testify under oath. And then I'll ask you to give your comments. With that, let's go ahead and begin. The first name I have on my list is David McCann. First. You signed up first at the end of the last hearing.
Unbelievable.
Mr. McCann, would you please spell your last name for the court?
David McCann, M-C-C-A-N-N, and I swore that I would tell the truth.
Thank you, sir. Please go ahead with your comments.
Thank you. Okay, mercy. As you have already heard from Liberty customers during the past few weeks, several reasons why Liberty should not receive a rate increase. Running from billing problems, overcharging, estimating the meter usage, while the electric has been shut off completely for almost 2 weeks. Not taking time for mail being delivered by the post office service. It takes 7 days to deliver mail. And we get our bill, and by the time we send it back in, it takes 7 more days. That's 14 days that they say it takes to deliver a piece of mail. And by the time you get it, Liberty gets it, it takes time to post it. We're already overdue and being charged late charges. So I'd like to see us take and have a system set up for a large usage increase and problem being because of problems of broken lines and things like that. People's been stating that they've got billed for $15,000 in 1 month. And there was nobody contacting them saying, you're using so much water or electricity, and we don't know why, we need to check it out. We had the service like that with Empire when they were in business. They would call us up and say, are you using an excessive amount of utilities? And we start looking for problems. Now, with all of this and problems, Liberty is asking for a rate increase which will raise the average bill of citizens over $60 a month above their regular cost. I would like to see that the Public Commission to vote down the payment request for increasing the production of power and adding on new customers in new areas and within the state before they correct these problems. And I'd like to see a committee or something set up that will oversee each one of these problems been brought up at these meetings with Liberty. I'd like to see somebody set up a committee to oversee that each one of these problems are addressed before we take and increase their payments and charges. So I don't believe that one of the other things is making payments locally. I understand it costs a lot of money to open a shop, but yet whenever it comes down to brass tacks, it's easier for me to make a payment locally than it is to mail it off and wait 14 days to get the thing done. And so if we can figure out what to do, we do have a area set up in Walmart's so that you can pay, but they'll only take cash and debit cards. I don't have a debit card and I don't pay cash because I have to have a paper trail. So if they can't take a credit card, then they take my check. And Walmart will not take a check. So customer service has went down the tubes. They're making it easy for people to make their payments. So if they're going to set up these shops to collect money from us, then give them the ability to accept a check and not have to take and put it all in one pool, and Walmart writes a check and pay the bill. And if it's hot, Walmart gets hold of the problem. We need a system set up that they can pay by check or a credit card or whichever, and be able to take and run it through the system without any problems.
Ms. McCann, your time has expired. If
Okay.
you could finish your thought.
So again, I'd like to suggest that the committee takes this all in advisement and vote down the increase. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCann. I appreciate you being here. Next witness we have is Ed Whitty. And let me go ahead and call some of the other names in line. Regina Payne and Jim Randalls. If you have not signed up to testify after I get done calling the names of those who have signed up, then I'll open this up to the audience. Ed Whitty? Okay, thank you. Regina Payne? Ms. Payne, if you would please spell your last name for our court reporter.
Payne.
Thank you, and just to confirm, you did state that you would be testifying under oath? Thank you. Please go ahead with your comment.
I fall in the category for the highest rate increase because I try to conserve the energy. And I would say probably most people that are retired and on Social Security are going to fall in that rate. And they don't get a Social Security rate of that. And I don't think that that's really fair, that somebody that uses less electricity gets the highest rate increase. It's almost 40%. And that's just unreasonable, totally. And I know that part of this money that they want is to pay for things that they have done, such as the new building that they built, which they really didn't need at all. The building they had worked just fine, and nobody had a say in that. They want us to pay for it, but we didn't have a say in them building it. Also, the building that they had, the people that needed to pay their bill could do that there. In this building, they can't even utilize it at all. So I just think that what they're asking for is totally unreasonable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Payne. I appreciate you being here this evening. Next, I have Jim Randalls. Thank you, sir. Mr. Randalls, if you would spell your name for our court reporter, please.
Randalls, Randels.
Thank you. I apologize for the mispronunciation, and I should warn everyone that might happen several more times. I do apologize.
If that's the worst thing that happens to us, we'll be okay.
Thank you for your understanding, sir. Please go ahead with your comment.
As a 40-year customer of Empire and now Liberty, I saw a definite change when the takeover took place in the customer service side, and have had issues that I had to take to the Public Service Commission to get solved. Citizens should be able to communicate with a local business, if it is local, and be able to get their problems taken care of. All of this has led to a lack of confidence in the management of Liberty by, I think, literally all of the users that we've heard from. Everybody has some kind of a customer service problem. And then the issue with the investigation that's been going on and the issue with the fact that they're making such a large request for an increase makes me wonder if they knew what they were buying when they bought Empire, and why is it that we need all of this done and spent now, and the consumer has to pay for it? I can understand a small increase, and I would have no problem with a small rate increase, but like any other senior citizen, you're living on a fixed income, and as the lady had mentioned, the proposed rate structure hits the lowest consumer the hardest. I would think that if there was a necessary big increase, that should go to the larger consumers, the businesses and commercial aspects that use electricity, where they have an option of being able to pass that on to their customers. As a residential individual, you have no option. It's either pay it or do without. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you being here tonight. The next name I have is Nikki Coker. And to give a heads up to the following persons, this will be Kay Pilkington, Joyce Deerwester, and Larry Forehand. Ms. Coker, would you please spell your last name for our court reporter?
Good morning, or good evening. I'm Nikki Coker. It's C-O-K-E-R.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Please go ahead.
And I just wanted to say that on the website, the 2022 rate increase, it promised things for savings for the individuals, for people, from a 277 wind turbines on 3 wind farms. I haven't seen any savings from that. I don't know if anybody else has. Instead, we're getting a 30% increase. They do offer programs to help those that can't afford their bills and they need a little help. They offer programs for that, but that's kind of like they raise it so high and then they offer you help to pay it. Their shareholders are the ones that offer this. The shareholders are paid by the dividends, which are paid by the profits, which I pay for. So in other words, I'm paying for that as well. There was one of the ladies made a comment about a 5% increase would hurt just as bad as a 30% increase. The difference is a 5% increase, other people could help those people. A 30% increase, everybody's going to need help. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Coker. I appreciate you coming out tonight. Kay Pilkington.
I'm right here, and I spoke earlier, I signed up, so I'm good.
Not a problem. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you being here. Joyce Deerwester.
I'm Joyce Deerwester. I've only lived here nearly 10 years. My last name, Deerwester.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, I live on Social Security, so does my husband. But our bills are they're tripled. I don't understand. And I know there's a lot more people that are a lot less financially than we are. And I do not know how they're going to make it. The only thing I see out of this is the people that's in the higher level of financial things, they're going to be climbing higher and higher, while the rest of us are going to go lower and lower in our financial situation. Our houses are not going to get painted or repaired or anything else. This is a poor community, comparing it to Republic, Nixon, all of that. And I don't know why this poor community has raised it 30%. I have friends in Springfield, and I compared my bills to theirs, and mine is much higher than theirs, and they live in a much more upbeat community. And my sister lives in uptown. I said, Patsy, what's your bills? And she told me every one of them, and I said, look at mine. She said, I can't believe you're paying that. And they live, I don't understand why this community, as poor as it is, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see this isn't a wealthy community. I mean, there's a few wealthy people in here and have a lot of money, but the majority, if you look around, right around, you could tell. And go to Walmart, you could tell there's people here that's very poor and they can't hardly make it. And it's going to get a lot poorer with those kind of rates. Their houses are going to get a lot trashier looking, and everything. It's, you know what? I'm almost considered being an Amish person. Won't have to pay that utility. I do not run a car wash, and my bill, my water bill, shouldn't be $155 for 1 month. I'm going, what happened here? Last year, for nearly a whole year, I kept calling the company, and it was hard to get a hold of them. I called them, and they'd always say, well, there's a glitch in the meter. It's not, the computer in your meter's not working well. Well, it took them a long, long time to try to figure it out, and the whole time was paying this really high bill. And so finally they said, well, you can add $30 a month to your bill to make up for this big high bill you got. And so, they kept telling me about the glitch. Well, for 2 months, the bill was kind of normal, you know, more normal than usual. And then the third or fourth month, it raised way up there again. And in December, can you believe it? They said I used 121 or some odd dollars of water. I don't use that kind of water.
Ma'am, I know that Liberty offers several utilities. This one is about the rate increase for their electric.
This one's what?
This hearing is about the requested rate increase for Empire Electric
Okay.
District.
Well, both these bills are on the same bill, electric and water, on the same page. And I don't know why that is, because a few other bills just had two different mails, electric and water.
Okay.
But what's going on here is I feel like in a movie of Robin Hood, except it's not taxes, it's in utilities. And it seems like only the wealthy is going to get better, and the people that's already living from paycheck to paycheck, struggling, is going to get more poorer. That's all I got to say. I don't mean to be rude or anything, but I don't like being poor, and I certainly don't want to get poorer. So I'm considering moving from this community. I'm going to consider moving because I'm looking at other people. They're not having to pay like this, and they live in better communities. Go figure.
Thank you, Ms. Deerwester. I appreciate you being here tonight. Larry Forehand. The next few names I have are going to be Teresa Petit, Max Myers, and Ben Plunk. Mr. Forehand, would you please spell your last name for our court reporter?
Sure. Forehand.
Thank you, sir. And please go ahead with your comment.
The lady that was here before very, very eloquently talked about Liberty's legal and ethical responsibilities to maintain an ongoing company and be ready for reserves and that sort of thing when it happened. Very good. A quick search of the internet told me that there are 121 separate utilities in the state of Missouri. Okay? If you rank their rates from 1 to 121, Liberty is currently 95. Are those other 121 companies, are they shirking their responsibilities? If they're not, at some point in time, you might come to the conclusion that maybe Liberty's not being run and managed as well as the others. If you search around for average rates in the state, a common figure you're going to come up with is 10.17 cents per kilowatt hour. At my house last month, my electricity, now I'm going to add in the cost of the Asbury decommissioning because the customers are paying for that. And I'm going to add in the cost of the storm damage that the customers are paying for. It's not part of the rate, but it has to be in the check when you write it. At my house, the rate last month, based on the kilowatt usage I had, was 15.2 cents kilowatt hour. So at some point, don't you have to look at how efficiently a company is being managed? And my final comment is to the Public Service Commission, I wasn't able to find, and you guys know, and it doesn't really matter, but do you ever just tell a company no? And the reason I say that, most of us have raised children, and it took my son a pretty quick time to know if he wanted $50, he would ask me for 100. But his mother would say, no, but I can probably get you 50. Well, if that's the way the Public Service Commission operates, I'm pretty sure the people at Liberty have figured that out. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am, or thank you, sir. I do appreciate the comments. The next name we have is Teresa Pettit or Petite.
My name is Teresa Pettit, P-E-T-T-I-T. I understand with businesses, just like the cost of living needed an increase, everything is getting more expensive. You know, it seems like there's some common sense about maybe COLA. You know, the COLA for Social Security this year was 2.5%. I mean, that's a huge range between that and 30 and 39%. There needs to be some reasonable determination on that. I spoke earlier that you did not hear, but our community is a poor community, and I'm sure you're aware what free and reduced lunches are. And I just talked to the central office today, or shortly before coming, and the free and reduced lunch rate with the poverty level in our school district is 65%, which enables all students, preschool through 12th grade, they are going to be getting this next school year free breakfast and lunch. And so that leads me to believe if our district students are having such a hard time being fed, what are their parents? You know, a lot of people work 2 jobs just to make, ends meet right now. You know, they're going to have to make decisions about, changing where they move, or senior citizens deciding which medication to fill for that month. We're a very poor community, and that really needs to be taken into consideration. I'm just re-echoing previous comments of poor customer service. We need to have that local office here. The billing issues, that's been said before from a previous meeting in June. I'm sure you have that information, is that correct, from the June meeting?
I'm sorry, I have to pause because we're not really prepared to answer questions. And
Okay.
that's a different
That's okay.
case.
I understand that. Okay, I understand. But it's where you're almost losing faith in a company that, they go from, all the way up in their rates. They seems like they're not there for you, like if you want to pay a bill or if you have a problem with a bill. And I know, again, this isn't a billing issue, but we were on vacation one week and we came home and I had 18 bills from Liberty. And they weren't all the same. It was crazy. I have a coworker that has a business here in town, and they were struggling as a small business owner of keeping things going because it's a fairly new business. So they drained their pipes, shut everything off, and for that time period, their bill was still $600. $600. And so you really wonder about the trust, I guess, of a company. Anyway, I want to reiterate, I want to applaud Dr. Forehand, who was right before me, about his comments on the rates as well. He said that very well. And I guess that's it. Thank you for your time.
If you would stay there for just a second, I do have a follow-up question. Do you know what month and year approximately that you received the 18 bills?
It'd been the month of April.
25?
Yes.
Did you call the company to let them know about the billing concern?
Yes, I did. And
What was the resolution?
It didn't go well. There was no resolution. You know, they said that they've got billing problems, and you'll get another bill. So anyway, so it's where you lose faith in a company, because we were so spoiled with Empire before, and now we have this company comes in, and it's like you just don't have any faith in them.
That was in April of '25. Do you still have an outstanding balance from those 18 bills?
No, I do not. Unfortunately, I'm auto pay. So you know what that means. So,
Did you get your concerns straightened out?
no, I did not.
So as of July 24th, 2025, you still have an outstanding billing concern tied to these 18 bills from April of 2025?
I hate to say this, I don't mean to be silly about it, but life just gets really busy, and it's where you try, and it's kind of like you just got to step forward and start moving, step backwards and move forward of trying to keep up with it going forward. So, anyway. Thank you.
I appreciate you being here tonight. Max Myers. And after Mr. Myers, we'll have Ben Plunk, Kathy Langford, Bree Shelton, and Daniel Hamill. Mr. Myers, thank you. Would you please spell your name for our court reporter? Your last name?
Myers.
Thank you. And I haven't been asking, but I just want to confirm you did state that you'd be testifying under oath.
What was that?
Earlier when I swore everyone in?
Yes, I did.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Please go ahead with your comments.
I got a worksheet in the mail explaining what I should see on my bill whenever this rate goes through. It said that the first 500 kilowatts cost $80.39. The next 1,000 costs $144. This adds up to $228.16, not 200. Which is what they said it would be. And this kind of goes to the trust issue. There's an error of 14% on their base calculation when they were explaining this. And then when you add in the energy efficiency investment, efficiency program, storm, Asbury cost, fuel adjustments clause, off-peak credit, altogether, my bill is $264.73 on 1,566 kilowatts. Not to get too far into the weeds on this, but their estimate of $200 would be a current bill to me of $333.23. It's 66% increase over their estimate of $200. The new rate. Another concern is that when they're adding in the maintenance cost in their new rate requests, those should have been figured in to the rate that's already there. This should not need to roll into a new rate increase, maybe an increase, but not all the maintenance that they did. The customer service is poor. The witness to complaints from many of the customers. Now there's a big rush to improve customer service at an increased cost. It all worked just fine before Liberty took over. New construction projects need extended time frames to get Liberty to hook them up. Closing the Asbury plant before the costs were recovered on the equipment installed to reduce precipitates, 99% of which were contained from the coal-fired plant, then charging the customers to tear the plant down before the costs were recovered. So we paid for them twice. We paid for them in the rate increase to have the precipitates taken out, and now we're paying because they tore it down, which is just ridiculous. And I still don't quite understand why they had to file two rate increases. 92 million was the original request. Then they withdrew that and filed one for 152.8 million, which that's just more of the same. They don't know what they're doing. They spend billions of dollars on wind generating capacity, which won't work during ice storms. which would be a peak demand period, or in mild or excessive wind events. And then data, of course, is not made available to check on the operational costs, but it's generally known that wind is the most expensive generation that you can do for electricity. So I think we need to get some new management in here. I think maybe they ought to have a 10% cut instead of a 30% increase, and maybe they'll go home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. I appreciate you being here tonight. The next name I have on the list is Ben Plunk. And after Mr. Plunk will be Kathy Langford, Bree Shelton, and Daniel Hamill. Thank you, Mr. Plunk. If you would please spell your last name for our court reporter.
Yeah, same set of rock mix when it hits water, Plunk.
Thank you.
I'm the rich guy from Republic. I am a Liberty customer. Give them credit. When the storms rolled through, we were without power 3 hours, much shorter time than my coworkers and counterparts in Springfield were without power with city utilities. But I take issue with a few things. I'm a design engineer. I deal with facts and figures every day for 9 hours a day. And earlier, Ms. Emery made a statement that a 5% rate increase could be just as detrimental as a 30 or 40%. Let me break that down. And I'm nervous, so please accept my apologies for that. If I buy a set of 4 tires for $500, 5% increase is $25. A 30% increase adds $150. One, I'm a little more able to absorb than the other, so I vehemently disagree with that statement that it can be just disruptive. It's not even in the same ballpark. We're talking Springfield Cardinals and St. Louis Cardinals. It's not the same game. Second thing I'd like to point out is one of the publications said that the investors expected a return of investment of 10%. My 401k average is 6%. If I made a 10% ROE, and I don't know a lot about investing, but I know 10% is pretty healthy, I wouldn't have had to drop $12,500 on a new AC system to get my house ready for retirement here in 5 years. Which begs the question, if I'm investing all this money in LED lights and energy efficient appliances, why do my electric bills continue to rise? I work with a computer and I work with software. We've heard a lot about billing issues. In my job, the computer can spit something out, but I have to have the knowledge to know whether or not that information it's giving me is correct. We're hearing a lot of comments about billing issues. I don't think the people at Liberty are using the intelligence. I think they're listening to software and not asking the questions that need to be asked. And it's being a disservice to every customer in this room. I don't think a 30 or 40% increase on the people that can least afford it is reasonable. I think it's criminal. And I think if I had my way, I'd fire them and deal with somebody else. I can pick my phone service. I can pick my trash service in Republic. I can pick my insurance for my car, but I can't pick my electric company. If I could shop around for another company that fixes this kind of asinine request for a rate increase, this is predatory, and the commission shouldn't allow it. The commission's job is to protect the taxpayers against these predatory increases, and that's what they need to do now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Plunk. I appreciate that. If we could, I appreciate the sentiment, but if we could hold that down, we do want to try and give everyone an equal chance to speak. Ms. Langford.
She's declined.
Oh, okay.
I'm Bree Shelton.
Ms. Shelton, if you would please spell your last name for our court reporter.
Shelton.
Thank you. And to confirm, you did state that you'd be testifying under
Yes.
oath earlier? Thank you. Please go ahead.
Understanding that prices do increase, we, however, do object to the exorbitant amount of a 30% increase projected by Liberty, as most of its customers are elderly and cannot afford a $30 to $50 increase in monthly utility bills. This petition reflects the public's mind on this matter, and I was advised to give this to you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll make sure and add this as an exhibit. Ms. Shelton, I appreciate you being here tonight. The next name that we have is Daniel Hamill. After that will be Steve Todd, and then Karen Cook. Mr. Hamill, if you would spell your last name for our court reporter, please.
Hamill.
And just to confirm, you did state earlier that you'd be testifying under oath?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
I guess I'll just start with the fact that a 30% increase to me just seems pretty ridiculous. And it's honestly kind of insulting that they think that they can get away with such a huge increase. Because if an increase of that size needs to happen, then the whole company is being managed very, very poorly. I come from a very poor community, and pretty much everyone I know cannot afford a 30% increase on their utilities. It's just not tenable. It's not something, it's kind of been commented on quite a few times tonight, is that Social Security, people on Social Security don't get an increase like that. And my grandma lives on it. And she already has a lot of health problems. She recently had a stroke. My mom and my aunt had to basically take off from their jobs just to take care of her. And she has all these medical costs, and just adding this on top of that, it's just, I just think I agree with the gentleman that spoke before that this is extremely predatory, and I think it should not be approved. I can get on board with almost like a small increase. That seems reasonable, like maybe 5-6%, but 30% is just insulting. That, like, there's no reason that it needs to be increased to that much. So I guess that's all I have to say.
Okay, I appreciate that. I thank you for being here tonight. Steve Todd. Good evening. Would you please spell your last name for our court report?
Todd.
Thank you, sir. And just to confirm, you did agree that you would be testifying
Yes.
under oath? Thank you. Please go ahead.
The resources I looked up, Liberty Electric in the last election cycle made 127 contributions to various state reps and senators around the state. After that, Senate Bill 4 was passed and signed into law by the governor. One of the key provisions, and I'll read, if you read Senate Bill 4, which I've looked at it, we'd be here 4 or 5 days. But the key provision allows utilities to charge customers for new power plant construction and grid improvements while they are still being built, shifting the financial risk to ratepayers. This has been met with strong opposition from consumer advocates who predict significant price increases in utility bills. 30%. There it is. You should be happy, the commission should, because Senate Bill 4 gives you extra money. Another person said that this was the largest wealth transfer from hardworking people of Missouri to utilities who monopolize or have the monopoly, and to high-tech, billion-dollar tech companies. And that's all on our backs. This, to me, is more of corporate greed than it is for what they need. They just admitted earlier that they met all their obligations, and now they're asking for a 30% price increase to pay for what they've already paid for. They didn't mention the future, and they're talking about storm damage. They're in business. Everything that they mentioned is part of the cost of doing business. If you wreck your car, you don't go around to your neighbors and ask for them to cover the deductible. You suck it up and you pay it. So I think, like some of the rest of them have said, Liberty Utilities is very poorly run. I was in the electrical business for 35 years, not on the utility side, but I dealt with utilities. I feel like I know where this is going to go. They're asking for roughly 30%. You're going to come back and say, we made an agreement with Liberty Utilities for a much lower rate, and then you're going to expect us to be happy about it. As people have said, people in this community can't afford a 5% increase. Senior citizens only get this year they're projected to get a 2.5% increase in their measly Social Security. It's unconscionable how you can allow, I've lived in numerous states, California, Idaho, Washington, Texas. I moved around with the company I work for. I have never seen a rate increase this large. And looks like it's all due to Senate Bill 4 because it gives the utility the right to go out and ask for these rate increases, and it's up to you to whether you stand with the people of Missouri or with Liberty Electric. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your comments and you being here tonight. Karen Cook.
See your sign here.
Yes,
3
our
inches from the
microphones are just a
mic.
little bit sensitive, aren't they? If you could spell your last name first for our court reporter.
C-O-O-K.
Thank you. And I just want to confirm that you did agree earlier to testify under oath.
Yes.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
So I want to say I wanted to ask a question earlier, but before I came, I looked at the intent of the raise was partly to go into all the details, and some of it was what really concerned me, and that's what I want to address, is I understand the need for utility, and I just wrote it all out, to modernize and invest in future energy, but I'm troubled by the transition of moving toward wind and solar without full accountability and transparency. These technologies are not without serious downsides. Wind and solar require large amounts of land, and I wondered about that 6 acres someone mentioned earlier. I don't know if you all were here to hear that 6 acres were bought up by Liberty, but you see these horrific-looking areas that were used to be cattle fields or whatever, they're full of solar panels. So another troubling thing about all this solar and wind is just the lack of planning for the end-of-life waste. Industry experts estimate that by 2030, which is actually only 5 years away, millions of tons of decommissioned wind turbine blades, an equivalent of 3,000 football fields worth of waste, is going to be accumulated, just in these short years. And 1 million tons of solar panels will all end up in landfills, creating long-term environmental hazards that we, the ratepayers, may ultimately be asked to clean up. These forms of electricity require heavy governmental subsidies and tax credits, and they distort the energy markets, and they also hide the real true cost. And we've all seen that with people just in their own little houses buying these solar panels and getting all these rebates back. I mean, how can you compare if your government's paying half and all of us taxpayers are paying the other half, right? That money doesn't come out of the blue. So, and I'm talking about, and I just read, like I said, online that you guys have plans to move that direction. And when I see these coal plants being closed down, and I know that some of it's because of government regulations, and I have to just bring up the James River, even though that's not you, but I just know that one better than the Asbury that you guys closed. But that was a super efficient coal plant. And they were asked to increase their efficiency, but they had gotten so efficient that they couldn't make it more efficient, you know? And so they closed down that whole plant, even though it was like one of the most efficient around. It had been kept up to date year after year. And I know this because my son-in-law is actually an engineer working for utility companies, and they're like so sad to see these plants decommissioned and torn down, and what a waste of, you know, we were supposed to recycle everything and fix everything, but our own government, and that's what I say, I'm not blaming you guys, but you guys should be voting, or what was someone saying, lobbying people to not make these ridiculous things. Why not individually say, you know, this was a very efficient plant, James River, and so you don't have to increase your efficiency by 20% because you were already way up here, but you need to you know, it's just like, gosh darn, we're all stuck in this circle of the government telling you what to do, and then we have to end up paying for it. So who do you go to make that happen? But I'll tell you, I'm very sad to see our dollars going for solar and wind. That is just going to be a big catastrophe. Anyway, you also have to store electricity when you are using wind and solar. So that's another big expense. Anyway, I just am not against moving ahead with other forms besides coal or whatever, but I am against rushing into large-scale renewables without a full, honest accounting of the economic and environmental cost before raising our rates by 30%. Liberty should be required to outline their future plans more specifically and just kind of balance it all out. Is there a timer on? I'm so sorry. Did I go over it? Were you trying to tell me a long time ago?
It's okay. Go ahead and finish your thought.
I grabbed a bite in between.
Not a problem. We appreciate you being here, Ms. Cook. The next name I have is David, no, Mr. McCann. No. I see why you were surprised about going first, though. What everybody may not know is Mr. McCann sat through our afternoon hearing, and then when his name was called, he said he would prefer to go this evening. I took it upon myself to sign him up first. And he didn't know that, and so he signed up also. I appreciate you, Mr. McCann. Jane Hutchinson. Thank you, Ms. Hutchinson. If you'd spell your name for our court reporter, please.
Hutchinson.
And just to confirm, you stated you would be testifying under oath?
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead and give us your comments.
I really don't want to have my electricity rates increased by 30%. I feel like my family is struggling enough to pay the bills as it is with kids and everything. And I do feel like I hope Liberty Utilities can get their billing system straight, because it's been quite the hassle trying to get those bills paid and having them double bill and all of that. So that's it.
Let me ask a couple follow-up questions about billing. Are you still having billing issues?
I was able to get a hold of Liberty Utilities, and she did help me figure out some of the stuff, which was really great for everyone's. So make sure your auto pay is set up for bill due date. That makes a big difference. But then she was mentioning earlier to go back to September 2023 to look at those prices, but I only have billing history back to January because once things changed over, I guess. So, and I've had the Liberty Utilities since 2023, but I can't go get my history. If I went onto my online account, I can only see back to January. I don't know if I'm the only one who deals with that, but it is hard to get that information, and it's just been really messy.
I understand. Thank you. I appreciate you being here tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we have 3 more names, and then I'll open it up to anyone in the audience who has not signed up to testify and would like to. Jimmy Hunter. Jimmy Hunter. And then we have Warren Rose and Nikki Thompson. Jimmy Hunter. Okay. Warren Rose. Thank you, Mr. Rose. If you'd spell your last name for our court reporter, please.
You bet. It's Rose, like the flower, R-O-S-E.
Thank you. And just to confirm, you did participate?
I did participate,
Thank you.
yes, sir.
Please go ahead with your comments.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Hatcher, commissioners, other folks at the table. I'd also like to recognize our law enforcement officials here. They haven't been recognized in today's world. They don't get treated well enough, in my opinion, so thank you both. With that said, I'm a big picture kind of guy, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you how these rates are going to affect me one way or the other. I don't live in this community. I live in Republic, but I am an Empire customer and have been a long time. I'm fortunate. I don't like the 30% increase or whatever it may end up. Can I afford it? Am I going to miss any meals? Probably not. But again, look at the big picture. I think we have to ask ourselves, how did we get here? And more importantly, how do we keep from getting here again? So that's the thoughts I'm going to share with you this evening. How we got here? Well, I think, in my opinion, I've heard a lot of others' opinions tonight. You know, is it greed? Is it poor whatever management? I believe the proof is in the pudding. And when you look at stock prices, when you look at some of the changes that have been made. So moving forward, again, how do we keep from getting here? If I understood Mr. Wilson tonight, when he spoke to the young lady who was talking about having solar service, she was upset that she was paying 14 cents and something a kilowatt for energy, but then only getting reimbursed 3 cents and something for that energy. And he explained to her that what she was being paid was the actual true cost of energy, the same that they have. Everything else was other cost. Well, it's real apparent to me that Empire really isn't in the industry, in the energy business. They're in the infrastructure business. And I work for an agency, and our agency has $1 billion worth of infrastructure in the state of Missouri. So that's a lot to manage. That's a lot to take care of, and sometimes you have to make tough choices. So I would challenge the commission and the other decisions makers here moving forward that I would want to see an infrastructure assets management report. I would want to see where those assets are at in their life expectancy. Are they halfway? Are they past their life expectancy? What's the future look like going down the road? And as a public service commission, I think they should ask for a report of what that looks like so that things can be budgeted accordingly so that we don't find ourselves in this situation again. I think that we need to have a good business plan and see what that looks like moving forward. I'm not sure if the commission has that authority, given the fact that Liberty is a public unity, and a publicly traded company, or a private company, if you will, in that regard. But if they can do that moving forward, I think that's a good thing to do. My guess is that when Liberty took over, because I'm familiar from this area for a long time with Empire, that when the Liberty took over, a lot of institutional knowledge walked out the door at some point. Maybe not right away, but since then that's happened, and I think that's played a huge contributor into getting where we're at today. We've got people making decisions that don't have the institutional knowledge, maybe not have the connection here to Southwest Missouri for whatever reason. But again, I urge the commission to consider these things, to look at those assets management reports. What's that budget? Have a game plan, have a business plan so that as we move forward, whatever the rate increase this time is, we don't have rate increases like that in the future, because I am a big picture guy. I'm fortunate, I'm still working, but I hope to join the ranks of many of these folks who are retired soon, and I don't want to have those expenses hit again. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. I appreciate your comments and being here tonight. Nikki Thompson. Thank you, Ms. Thompson. If you would spell your last name for our court reporter, please.
Thompson.
Thank you. And to confirm, you did agree that you'd be testifying under oath earlier?
Yes.
Thank you. Please go ahead with your comments.
As stated earlier during the question and answer, The requested $152.8 million is only until the next assessed time when it may or may not be renewed. And then this is to continue their profit margins. The company is not operating at a loss, as they stated, but these improvements, this money that will go towards improvements and efficiency, will not come back to customers. That will continue to go to stockholders' profit margins. Liberty is the most expensive utility in the area, and they do not manage their money well by requesting a 30 to 40% increase on customers. That is a burden that should not be assessed to people who do not have the option of picking a provider. Also, as many of you know, there is a list of taxes and fees and costs on your utility bill, and an increase in the rates will cause another increase in those taxes, fees, and costs. We're already paying, 10 to 20 bucks a month for the Asbury, whatever. That will also go up if the rate goes up. So that's kind of a hidden little thing there they like to do. I personally have never had a problem with Liberty's customer service. About a year ago, I did not receive a bill. I called them, assuming it had been lost in the mail, but an error in their system, it had not created a bill. They were very Johnny on the spot to get that fixed, and suggested that I prepay so I would not be late on a bill that did not exist. Thank you.
Can I ask a couple follow-up questions?
Yes.
Did you prepay?
No.
Okay.
I told them, I said, you will note on my account that I do not owe you anything yet, and when I get the bill and it is due, I will pay it by its due date.
Has that all been straightened out?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they got me the bill real quick.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. That is the end of our sign up. Yes, you said you. Yes, I recall.
It was brought to my attention yesterday, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's no way.
Ma'am, can you tell me your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. Kay Pilkington, Pilkenton.
Thank you, I've got it.
And I did not raise my hand because I didn't think I was going to.
Well, let's go ahead and swear you in.
If you want to swear me in, go ahead.
I do. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony will be truthful?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, and please spell your last name for our court reporter.
Pilkenton.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Okay, let me get this pulled back up here. It was brought to my attention yesterday, and I didn't believe it. I grew up on Spring River, and someone said, well, Liberty Utilities owns the head of Spring River, almost 6 acres. I said, no. Well, if you look it up, Liberty Utilities, LLC, Mormon family I know has owned this. It's like 200 and some acres, and they own all around it, but there's 5 point some acres, almost 6 acres, Liberty Utilities LLC owns. So then I think, well, is this part of a bigger plan? What are they planning on doing at the head of Spring River, which I feel like Liberty Utility has no business owning the head of Spring River, and why this Mormon bunch sold that to them, their land all around it. I'm a little confused, so I want to get to the bottom of it. And so the president was here, and he says, as far as I know, we know nothing about it. And so I was talking to him. He called one of his buddies. We conferred, and another lady is looking it up. We're trying to decide if it's maybe Liberty's water at this point. After I've talked to them, we don't know. They're going to follow up on it. But is this, you know, what's the plan for this down here? I'm not sure how long they've owned it, but I will find out. And I'll try to find out from that family, you know, what the plan was, what they've told them, or, you know, I need to find out how long they've owned it. And so is this part of a bigger plan with Liberty, you know? Because a 30% increase, yeah, that would build, I don't know what. You know, we don't know. So they're still trying to figure that out and hopefully get back to me. You know, and so now I'm thinking, well, is that part of a, I know I had an uncle that was a state geologist, and I think Liberty or whoever years ago did a big water well south of town, and they said, you know, it's not going to be a good well, and it's not been a good well. So did they buy this thinking that they would have to use this for water? I don't know. I'd just like to know the answer to that question, and why this family still owns all the around it. And there's just this, I mean, it's the head of Spring River where it starts. Then it says, if you look it up on here, it clearly shows that Liberty Utility owns it 5.42 acres, head of Spring River. So, you know, I'd like to know what the plan is, if that's something that plays into this. So, I think that's all I need to say about that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you being
Yes.
here tonight. Okay, that ends our witness sign-up list. If anyone in the audience would like to come on up and give their comments, now is that time. We'll follow a similar format. I'll ask you to spell your last name, and then I will swear you in. So welcome.
Thank you. Bridget Dines, Dines.
And let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony will be truthful?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
At the end of April, we experienced a storm, a tornado in the area. Power went out, and I didn't think anything of it. We all got our generators. We did what we needed to do. I saw a Facebook post in early May that said that somebody with Liberty had usage showing on their account. I went to go look at our account. We had usage showing on the days without power. Contacted Liberty, and to their credit, as far as I can tell from the math from that billing period, we were not charged for any usage. That has been corrected on the graph on the account. However, looking at that particular billing period, I have a single day where we used, according to our Liberty meter, 109.763 kilowatt hours on April 12th. The next highest day in that billing period is 35. I don't remember throwing a party. I think I would. But that got me to go back and look at some of our other billing discrepancies. On this particular situation, I contacted Liberty, and I was told that sometimes during a storm, the lines can be zapped, and that is why my meter reported time. What I've since heard from Liberty repeatedly since then is that their system is designed to estimate kilowatt hours when the meter is not communicating. That is not my definition of a meter, nor do I think it's Webster dictionaries. It needs to be a measurement of the service that's actually used. I contacted Liberty again after not hearing from a supervisor to explain why my meter was not working correctly, and did not get a supervisor. I read Liberty's official statement on the issue, where they said everything is working as intended, but we're working with our vendors to correct an issue that doesn't exist, is how I read it, at least. Did not hear from a supervisor again. I asked expressly during that call if someone could come validate that my meter was working. I don't know if that's the issue or not. I would think I would see more evidence of invalid readings if it was. But that's the first step, being reasonable and trying to discover a problem. Until today, going to these tables over here, I have not heard from Liberty. I had to go face to face in this forum to get billing to set up a meter validation and meter test, which is supposed to happen Monday. We're 3 months past. That's how important we are as customers. They will not call us back. We're an ATM machine, and they're coming to you to tell us that we need to give them more and more and more. And it's unacceptable. They made improvements, they made investments, they're still making money. And it's just not enough. And that's unacceptable. Since this has happened, and I now have a situation on the portal where I can see that usage appeared where none should have been recorded, I have gone back and looked at previous months' billing statements. I just want to read to you guys. November 2017, 2024. This is directly from the portal that Liberty offers us as information about our usage. November 17th, 30.791. November 18th, 13.285. November 19th, 29.308. November 20th, 70.388. November 21st, 123.21. November 22, 0. November 23rd, 167.573. November 24th, 200.678. November 25th, 0. November 26th, 188.17. November 27th, 0. If that does not support that Liberty does not have any idea what they are doing, I don't know what does. They have an active audit. They're not here for the community. They're here for a handout. Just like the grant they applied for and got, that we won't see any deferment from in expenses. I want to leave you with a thank you for having this, because I don't know how we would be where we are now. I don't know what we as a community could have done to try and combat this without you giving us this forum. Because when we call, they'll answer. Customer service is lovely, but they're a wall, and I feel bad for them because nothing's going to come from the top down without you guys holding them accountable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dines. I appreciate you being here tonight. Any other persons that haven't gotten to testify that would like to? Please tell us your name, ma'am.
My name is Judy Hurst, H-U-R-S-T.
Thank you, and let me go ahead and swear you in. Do you
Okay.
solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Please go ahead with your statement.
This is the first meeting like this, PSC. I've been to all the other question and answer sessions. I'm just amazed that somebody spends money and then comes back and asks us to pay for what they've already spent. I have a big problem with that. Is this normal? We're not supposed to ask questions. Okay, never mind. If this is normal, this is crazy. And a 40% increase is just unsustainable for the customers. And I can't believe anybody would, I just can't fathom anybody would ask that much. And then my last response would be, had problems with billing, and it was minimal. It was a tax issue. So I just kept my monthly bills in a spreadsheet. I mean, I called them and didn't get anything. And like I say, it was small amounts. And I contacted the commission, and they told me my account had been fixed. Well, I have 2 accounts. One account had been fixed, the other one had not. But I was told it was fixed. And my sister lives next door to me. She's had horrible tax issues. We've got an Ash Grove address, but we don't live in Ash Grove. They keep telling her it's fixed, but she keeps getting bills that are wrong. And somebody from the commission is believing Liberty before they believe us. So, to me, that's a problem. But anyway, I do not believe that this rate increase is just too much. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here. Can I ask, Ms. Hurst, one quick follow-up? When you say tax issue and you mentioned Ash Grove, am I to understand that the bill that you're getting is adding on a tax, but it's a tax for the locality of Ash Grove? I mean,
I got Missouri state tax on mine, and my sister lives next door. She got an Ash Grove tax and a Greene County tax, and we live in Lawrence County. So, and they've told us it's related to the way the zip code is or something. I don't know how it can get fixed and then changed back, but it's wrong again. So.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here tonight. You testified already?
No.
Okay.
No, sir. I just talked last time, but not at your hearing here.
At the question and answer?
Sure.
I'm sorry. Please go ahead and tell me your name.
Victor Bowles, B-O-W-L-E-S. I have not been sworn in. If you want to, I'll say it under oath, whatever.
Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead.
Okay. My question, well, more of a statement, sorry, is I'm not familiar why they're raising, because I asked probably 3 or 4 questions all at once to that poor gal that was here, and I think she answered 1. I kind of rattled them off pretty quick. If this is green related, as in we have all these increases because of we're trying to institute more wind and solar, Texas is great for wind. Works great there. They could do the whole state. Solar works great where I lived in Arizona forever. Here, neither one works very well. And if I'm going to subsidize all this garbage that doesn't work well here, let me do it on my own. But I don't want corporations to do it for me. I just don't think I don't think any of us want to pay these exorbitant price increases to cover this kind of past policies from the last 4 years. I'm not saying who, but I know that was what they've been pushing for years there, and it works great in certain places, but if they're trying to force it here, I think we're just going to end up paying for stuff that isn't going to work very well. It's not going to benefit us in the long run, I don't think, sir. That's really it. Again, I can't afford a 39% increase at the amount we use, because I'm retired as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowles. I appreciate you being here. All right, we do have a taker.
Yeah. I may get myself in trouble because one of my bosses is sitting right there.
Go ahead and give me your name first.
Yeah, Wes Coatney, C-O-A-T-N-E-Y. And I took the oath, but we forgot one important part. We're in Aurora, so help me God. So, yeah.
No, go ahead.
I absolutely take the oath. My name's Wes Coatney, and I have the privilege of being a citizen of Aurora and also the honor as serving as the chief of police for the communities of Aurora and Marionville. I apologize for my appearance. They asked for some plainclothes police presence in the room today, and so I took that job, and so otherwise I'd be more presentable to you. I'd apologize for that. I stand here today. I took some notes listening this morning and this afternoon, and I kind of put some notes together just to give you kind of a little bit of a perspective from my point of view. I'm here today not as an expert in utilities and the nice folks from Liberty that's been here, and I work with Liberty in law enforcement on a regular basis. Great people, linemen, the folks I have absolutely no problem with, and I know these folks have people that they answer to, just like I do, and so sometimes you have to do things you don't necessarily want to do, and I suspect that might be what's happening here. But I'm also someone that has sworn an oath to protect and serve the people who will bear the weight of y'all's decision. And that's why I felt like I kind of needed to say something. Disclaimer, I get a little emotional when I talk about these people. They've given me a great life, 27 years in law enforcement. The citizens I serve are good people. They are the people who would bring a casserole to a neighbor that's in need. They are the people who would fill a hospital waiting room if I was seriously injured in the line of duty. They are people who would give what they can even when they don't have much themselves. But this town is not wealthy. 60% of Aurora under the age of 65 is on some form of government assistance. I know that from doing the stats that I do for law enforcement. Many are surviving on Social Security benefits that barely stretch to cover the cost of food and medicine. They're paying staggering medical bills and outrageous insurance premiums. They're fighting daily against an economy that has absolutely punished them for the last 5 years. When I'm called to a home where the power is off in the middle of July, and I'm kneeling on the floor of a sweltering house giving CPR to an elderly resident who couldn't afford their electric bill, that's why I decided to stand up and say something, and that's happened. When my officers and I, at 1 o'clock in the morning, deliver blankets to some little kids in January because their parents can't afford to turn on the heat, that's why I decided to stand up, and that happened. I personally deliver those and have many, many times. The proposed 30 to 40% increase is not just a number on a ledger. These are real human beings that are living in our community and barely making it day to day. It's a difference between life and death for them, and I have sworn to protect them, and I think just staying quiet was not the right thing to do. It's the difference between a family eating dinner or sitting in the dark. I just implore you to look beyond the financial charts and corporate projections and see what the human cost is here. 30 to 40% is not negligible. This community cannot sustain that kind of burden. Neither one of the communities that I represent can. It's not fair, and a lot of them just simply can't survive it. So on behalf of the people that I've sworn to serve, and on behalf of the oath I have taken, I just urge you to really, really consider this and not approve an upwards of 40% increase on a bill that they already are willing to pay. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you being here tonight. Okay, we are very quickly wrapping up. Is there anyone else? Yes, please come forward. Please tell
Danielle Stellwagen.
And would you please spell your last name for our court reporter?
Yes, Stellwagen.
And let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
So I know a lot of people have been up here. Sorry, I'm really nervous, so I might mumble a little bit. We live, and you've heard it, we live in a community and many communities where families can't afford a 30% to 40% increase. We can't. Cost of living raises, on average, 5%. What is it in the right of Liberty to come back and ask for more than that person is receiving every year if they receive it in a year? That is expecting them. They're expecting them to turn around and take that livelihood that they can only use, that they might possibly get, to turn around and then increase that by, what, an extra 50%? That's hard enough
on families and senior citizens in our counties, in our communities. But then we take a turn. I have 20 years, my husband and I have been married and have lived in this town. I love this town, but with these constant increases, and you are not here for water, I understand that, but we got 105% water increase. Our bill was $29, is now $62 on the water side every month for 3,000 gallons of water. That is insane. But so then Liberty turns around and asks for this increase. I love my home. My home has been where I raised all my babies. But I will turn around and look for a home outside of Liberty usage to maintain, to be able to afford to maintain my home. I'm trying to help put babies through college, and we can't do that if you constantly eat at us. And I understand everything comes at a price. You want to increase it 4 to 5%, 6% if need be. Like somebody else said, we're going to have to absorb that somewhere. But a 30 to 40% is untouchable for most families. That is a whole house payment, and if I was willing to make an extra house payment, I would already have my house paid off by now. I can't afford that. So I do, when the storms came through, I did thank Liberty last time that they were here for bringing that water in for everybody. I did appreciate that. But on the other side of everything, billing side, the customer service, it is terrible and needs a lot of work before I would even suggest letting them have any kind of increase. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments and being here tonight. We have another. Come on forward.
I'm Tracy Easton, E-A-S-T-I-N.
Thank you, Ms. Easton. Let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
My husband and I have only lived here a little under 2 years, and we came from Springfield with city utilities. And several things. One, our bills equivalent are about a third for electricity, water, and sewer are about a third more here than they were in Springfield. I'm wondering if Liberty has yearly budgets and the next year transparency with how they spent the money, because it appears they used debt and shareholders' money to do all the improvements, and now they want us to pay that back. And in America, we have a huge debt problem. We have a national debt, we have a student loan debt, we have a credit card debt, all of it ready to explode or a bubble to burst, and I don't think that our utility should be using debt to do their business. They should manage their money, do the improvements as they have the money, and not come to us with a 30% increase to pay back what they used, and they used it with debt. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Easton. I appreciate you being here tonight. Sir? Go ahead and tell me your name.
My name's John Easton. That's E-A-S-T-I-N. As you probably know, I was connected to the last person.
Yes, I've made the connection. Let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful?
I do.
Thank you. Go ahead.
As Tracy said, we've been down here a couple years. Before that, we lived in Springfield. In between us, we were just getting married at that time. We had 3 different properties. And our bills for 3 different properties were equivalent to basically what we pay Liberty now, except in Springfield, it included gas. So 3 properties equal to the one that we live in now. So, and I'll tell you, the customer service was spectacular in Springfield compared to what we pay now. I mean, it's unbelievable. I just think that if Walmart was to bump their prices 30%, we have other options. But right now, we're in a situation where they're going to mandate that they do this. We're not going to have any other options. We can't vote them in or out, and I just think it's wrong. I think we ought to at least have options. If they're going to bump it that kind of money, we ought to have the option to be able to vote whether we keep them here or not. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Easton. I appreciate you being here tonight. We had another gentleman making his way. Go ahead and tell us your name.
Hello, my name is Robert Duda, D-U-D-A.
Thank you, and let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony will be the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please go ahead.
My name is Bob Duda. I live in Marionville, Missouri. I am an accountant. I'm also a volunteer firefighter, have been for the last 12 years, so I've served alongside that man that just spoke a minute ago, Mr. Coatney. And I can definitely testify to some of those things that he said. The poverty line in the state of Missouri is 12.6% of the citizens of the state of Missouri live below that line. In Aurora, Missouri, that number is 17.23%. One of the highest in the state for any community. The number of people that you're putting in a very poor situation by raising 30 to 40% for their utility bills, 30% of the base rate, and then all the other things that calculate on top of that, is putting those people in a very horrible situation. Yes, there are programs that they can apply for, or there are programs that are available, but it doesn't mean they're going to qualify. You're putting a lot of people of the community that I love and that I serve in a very horrible position, a position that they have no control over whatsoever. I do hope that you deny this request for Liberty Utilities. I also work for a company that is in Marionville, Missouri. We bought that piece of property in August of 2024. We received our first utility bill in March of 2025. We received 7 bills at the same time in the mail at the same day. All separate, but we received all 7 bills the same day. When I called to request why we received all bills on the same day, that's just what you owe. You have 14 days to pay them. So we had to pay all those bills on that date so that we wouldn't lose our power when we only had a bill for that day when we had power for the last 7 months. Again, one of the other things that I do is I am the homeowner and the property owner that puts on the largest residential light display in the state of Missouri. One thing you're going to do to me is you're going to hurt me real bad. But if that is what it is, as utilities go up and as things change, that's something that my wife and I have always eaten. Well, my wife eats it with me, but I make the decision and I pay for it at home. Hi, dear. But that is something that I do for this community. We do have a poor community. We have a community that isn't able to do a lot of things because of the low incomes. But that's something that I do for this community to give back to them. And by this much or large of an increase, my bill for that month is usually $500. That bill now becomes $750 to $850. It's just something that this community may lose because of a decision that is made by that utility company. Thank you for your time. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Don't go anywhere. I do have a follow-up question. I want to circle back to your bills. August of '24
we purchased, yes.
is when you purchased. May of '25 is when you receive. Oh, March.
March of '25, we received all 7 bills for September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Sorry, April is when we received them. We received the March bill. So we received all bills from September through March on the same day.
Are your billing issues resolved as of today?
Online, I resolved those issues, yes.
Okay.
I did not get any resolution from the utility company themselves. We just paid it. But yes, we are now receiving a regular bill online now that we have access to that. But we didn't have access to that until we had the account number because we never received a bill.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. I'll call one more time for any witnesses. Yes, come on down, sir.
I spoke a while ago, and I know you're not.
Sir, you testified already.
Larry Forehand, yeah. That's
Yeah,
what I said.
I'm sorry.
Is it okay? Can't?
No.
No duplicates.
I'd have to let everybody go again, and we've been really trying to make sure.
No, I understand.
I apologize. We do still accept comments online. So if you go to the website psc.mo.gov, the upper right-hand corner, it says submit a comment. put down this case number, and that'll be perfect. I understand it's the end of the hearing. We're almost done. It seems like it would be a very easy yes, but I've been so strict in all of these hearings. Just everybody gets one bite at the apple. I apologize. Anyone else? I'm going to close the hearing in just minutes. Okay, let me go ahead and repeat the instructions. If you do want to give comments online, or if you know of friends or family that couldn't be here that do want to make comments, it is the Public Service Commission's website, psc.mo.gov. The case number is ER-2024-0261. You just go to the website, upper right-hand corner, it says submit a comment, and include that case number. Case number is ER-2024-0261. 0261. With that, would any commissioners like to make a closing comment?
Yes, please. Thank you, Judge. On behalf of Chair Hahn and the other commissioners, I want to thank each and every one of you that came out this evening. You all could have done a lot of other things tonight except come to a meeting like this. We've had a great crowd, and we've had a lot of really good comments. I also want to thank our law enforcement, our uniformed, and our plainclothes for coming this evening. We really appreciate our law enforcement. So with that, I here again want to thank everyone for coming out.
Yes, our appreciation to everyone. This hearing is adjourned, and we are off the record. Thank you all.